Hi, my name is Emory Zoellner. I'm a CEAT career coach here at OSU CEAT Career Services, and today I will be talking to you about the career fair and how to prepare for it and what to expect. So, what is the career fair? The career fair is a place for companies and students to connect with one another. This can be in the form of networking, and it can also be like internships, co-ops, and jobs. Um, this is also a fantastic place to explore your interests. So let's say you're in between like mechanical engineering and electrical engineering. This would be a great time to learn about the industry and see like what the pros and cons of each major in industry kind of has in store. And there's also a great time to explore certain fields of interest. So if you want to do like automobile manufacturing or renewable energy. So how should you prepare for it? There's going to be five main things you want to work on, which is researching companies, familiarizing yourself with the career fair app, preparing your resume, reviewing professional dress, and attending a mock interview. So when it comes to research, the best place to start is downloading the Career Fair Plus app. In the app, it has all of the companies that are going to be attending the career fair. It gives a little like rundown of what they do, sometimes has a link to their website. They'll talk about what majors they're looking for and positions they have. So that could be like internships or full-time jobs. Once you have some companies you're interested in, here's some like basic questions that you should ask yourself. So what do they do? This could be like recent projects. Is there anything recently that they worked on that you're interested in? Could be like renewable energy. That seems to be a really big topic. A lot of companies are tackling areas of new research, stuff like that. And then you can go into what would you do there? Is there something you would want to do there? Do you want to design stuff? Do you want to be on like the business side of their company? That's something to think about. And once you have all of this into consideration, kind of take a step back and think about how interested are you in the company in general. If it's not something you're interested in, you don't need to worry about visiting them at the career fair. So the Career Fair Plus app is a super powerful tool when it comes to the career fair. Here are a couple of main features we're going to talk about: featured companies, filters, favorites, notes, and map. Featured companies are super important because they are here because they want you. There's a reason they are featured. If they're in an industry that you're interested in, go talk to them because there's a really good chance that you can get your foot in the door there. Another useful tool there is filters. When you go to the filters tab, it allows you to sort by major and job type. So if you are looking for specifically an internship over the summer, you can look that up. Unfortunately, it doesn't have fields of interest, but usually you can narrow it down by major. The next thing we're going to talk about are favorites. These little stars on the side here, you can click those and they will be added to your favorites tab. This is a great way to sort companies you're interested in, so you don't have to look through the app every single time you want to go look at their information. And then the notes is a great place to store some of that research that you read about earlier. So questions you might want to ask a recruiter, projects they've worked on, stuff like that. And then finally, the map. The fair map is a great way to figure out where companies are, especially if you've never been to a career fair before, because Gallagher-Iba Arena is going to be filled from top to bottom with companies on every single floor. It's going to be super packed. So knowing where your companies are at will help you save a lot of time. So next thing we're going to talk about is how to prepare a resume. Your resume is how you show off your talent, skills, and experience. This is the first thing an employer sees this is the first thing an employer looks at when they're trying to like gauge how well you would fit at their company. So you want stuff that is relevant to the company. Ultimately, you're going to be selling yourself, so it could be beneficial to create a sales pitch to go with it. That doesn't have to be anything too crazy. It could be pretty straightforward: where you're from, why you chose your degree, and what you want to go into. And if you're looking at multiple fields, there is an option. You can totally customize it for certain companies. That is definitely an option. You can utilize the objective and your activities and skills section to do that. When it comes to printing your resume, you should print it on resume paper. The last thing you want to do at the career fair is hand a recruiter your resume on some basic copier paper. That is the best, fastest way to get it thrown in the discard pile. Shows that you're not interested in presenting yourself well, shows you didn't really put any time or thought into it, you kind of just did it and showed up. If you have any questions regarding your resume, I strongly suggest you visit a resume clinic at CEAT Career Services. We usually have one about a week or so before the career fair. And here's just an example of a resume we go over. So yeah, once again, you change your objective, and then your experience, activities, and skills is where you can really customize it for certain companies. So the next thing we're going to talk about is dressing to impress, professional dress. Professional dress is super important for first impressions. It's a lot like resumes. It shows your interest and your commitment to your own success. So if you show up in a t-shirt, shorts, and tennis shoes, and a recruiter sees that, it's pretty obvious that you're not very serious about this and that you don't have any interest in it truly. You should really try and dress for the job you want. So a lot of engineering firms and stuff like that, architecture firms, are very professional environments. So if you don't dress well to this event, what are you going to dress like every day in the office? So another key thing when it comes to professional dress is knowing how to stand out among your peers without being flashy. There are a lot of students coming to this career fair. So if you can figure out a way to stand apart from the crowd, that is super helpful. So what should you wear? For women, this is neutral colored suits. This is blue or navy, black, gray, and tan and beige. You don't really see that very often, but you can wear that. But I would try to stick with black, navy, or gray. You can also wear blouses. Try and keep it conservative. Don't show too much cleavage. Preferably silk or cotton blends. And then if you're going to wear skirts, make sure they're knee length. Wear them with hosiery. You don't want them to be too tight. And if possible, trying to wear high, be aware of high slits. For accessories, we're going to want closed-toe shoes. So mid-height heels, loafers, or flats. And when it comes to heels, you don't want anything more than like 2 or 3 inches. Anything beyond that is unprofessional. If you're going to carry a bag with you, try and keep it small. Walking around Gallagher-Iba, there's a lot of people. If you have to deal with a bag, it's kind of a hassle. I understand sometimes you need one. So if you're going to bring one, try and keep it small, neutral colors, preferably try and match it to your shoes. You don't want a bright red leather bag. If you're going to wear jewelry, keep it simple and high quality. This is not the time to wear big feather earrings. This is just like small studs or something. For makeup, keep it light and natural. You don't want to go too crazy on that. So for men, again, neutral tone suits. For men, that's going to be navy, black, and gray. You cannot wear beige. Do not wear beige. That is different. Again, try to avoid bright colors or patterns. Now is not the time to bust out your uncle's baby blue prom suit that he wore one year. For shirts, try and keep them light colored, button down with long sleeves. So stuff like light blue, white. You could get away with like a super light gray, but I would not suggest it. Try and keep like white or light blue. And please wear an undershirt. You may think that they can't see through it, but I promise you they probably can. So let's just err on the side of caution and wear an undershirt. Pants should match your jacket. Don't show up with 2 different colors things. You'll look absolutely silly. Your cuff should touch your shoe, and that's about it. So for accessories, again, closed-toe shoes, preferably leather. Oxfords or loafers are acceptable. Again, no tennis shoes. I repeat, no tennis shoes. Dark socks to match your shoes. If you don't have socks that match, try and get something to match your pant legs, your pantsuit. When it comes to ties, no bow ties or clip-ons, and try to avoid bright colors and patterns. This is not a time to wear a bright neon green skeleton rock tie. Acceptable patterns are going to be like stripes, plaid, paisley, stuff like that. For belts, no crazy belt buckles. Try and have it match your shoes, so brown or black. Same kind of goes with the watches. Again, have the wristband match your belt or shoes. Now is not the time to wear a giant coaster for a watch. It's also not okay to wear a small dime size watch. Try and get something that fits your body, kind of just common sense there. So now on to practice interviewing. Knowing how to interview is an essential skill. So if you do manage to land an interview, if you go in there without any practice, you're not setting yourself up for success. So mock interviews allow you to practice the sales pitch we talked about and practice your answers to common questions that interviewers may have. What you can expect the interview to last roughly 30 minutes. The first 20 minutes will be just like an average interview with an employer. And then your last 5 to 10 minutes is going to be critique. So what you did well, what you can improve on. They could even touch into like your resume and like what you're wearing. So it is just a really good way to like brush up on what we talked about. You can schedule a mock interview by going into the hire system or emailing us at ceats@okstate.edu, and we can get that set up for you. So if you decide to do the website, you're going to go ahead and log into Hire OSU Grads. And then on the left side, you should see this bar right here, and you're going to go down and click events. And then this page will pop up. And in the search bar, I would recommend using words like practice or mock, along with interview, obviously. That's not always going to be the same thing. So sometimes it's just trial and error to find what's there. Before clicking on an event, make sure it's on the right campus because we do have Tulsa, Stillwater, and OKC, and they all host their own mock interviews. So you don't want to schedule one in Tulsa if you're in the OKC campus. And then once you click on the event, there could be some instructions, just kind of read through. Typically, there is a link that you can click and it just takes you to another page where you can apply and register. And now with all of that out of the way, it is finally time for the career fair, what comes after it. So we'll go ahead and talk about attending the career fair, how to interact with your recruiters, what to expect after the career fair, and then we'll hit summary. And I'm not gonna have questions for this. So attending the career fair, the day of, remember your professional dress. You don't have to wear it there, but at least bring it with you. However, I will say this, if you're gonna wear it there, don't make my mistake and wear your shoes the whole way. Bring some tennis shoes because you'll probably get blisters if you're walking around a lot in them. That is not something you want to deal with, and that would just make the rest of your week kind of insufferable. So after you have that, get your portfolio of resumes. If you don't have one, you can get one at CEAT Career Services. They're like $5, nothing super crazy going on there. And then go ahead and head towards Gallery or IBA. Once you get inside, you'll see a desk with people sitting at it. Just go up to them and ask for your name tag. They'll ask for your CEAT or your ID. If you don't have your ID and you don't know your CEAT, you're going to have to go all the way back to your dorm room. So please, please, please be sure you have that stuff with you. I literally saw like 4 people do it last career fair. That is not something you want to deal with. Once you get your name tag, go ahead and open your career fair app. This is a great time to review your notes on companies and like what companies you want to talk to. You can also use the map and figure out where they are, because trying to walk around the whole place trying to find them is not viable. You're going to waste so much time. So once you figure out where your companies are at, it's time to head over there. Be aware, employers are always watching. If you are making a scene whenever you're going somewhere, they will talk amongst themselves. And if you're exceptionally crazy, it could get back to us, and we don't want to hear about that. So try and be professional everywhere you go. Be courteous, be kind, just respect other people's spaces. So you finally got into your company's booth, and it's time to talk with a recruiter. Be aware there may be a line, especially if you're talking to bigger companies like Boeing, Samsung, stuff like that. There could be a little bit of a wait, and that's okay. Just wait in line, you'll get your time. When you get there, you could be talking to one recruiter, you could be talking to multiple. Be sure to shake their hands and introduce yourself. Speak clearly and confidently. I understand it can be intimidating talking to recruiters for the first time, especially if you've never been to a career fair. I like to say fake it until you make it. If you act confident, confidence will come to you. Be sure to make eye contact. Don't just zone off out in the middle of nowhere. Don't just lock eyes with a recruiter and kind of just look around at each of them. When the recruiters are talking, do not interrupt them. That's super disrespectful. Shows you don't really care about what they're talking about. Just take your time. You'll get through it. This is a time to ask your questions. Those questions you formulated. So anything about the industry, the field, the specific company, stuff they're working on. Now would be the time to do that. Don't show up with like 20 questions, because there are other students that want to talk to them. So try and narrow it down to like 5 or 7. And you should be good. Once you're done with all of your questions, you've got some insight. If you're still interested in joining them, go ahead and tell them. Be like, hey, I want to interview with you guys for an internship over the summer. Some people definitely forget to do that. I know people who have, and they kind of just walk away. So they'll typically ask for your resume. You can hand it into them. They'll talk a little bit more. Kind of just depends on the recruiter. And then go ahead and ask for a business card. Some of them can be stingy and they won't give it to you unless you ask. If you're super serious about joining them, you're going to want a business card. You can use this to ask questions, choose a day for your interview, and send them thank you notes. So with that out of the way, the following weeks, so within 24 hours of the career fair, you're going to want to send thank you note. Note cards are available and they are an option, but more commonly you see emails. It's hard to get note cards to a company within 24 hours. If you can, that's awesome. It just shows a degree of what's it called? I guess personable and unique. But yeah, if it's going to take 3 weeks, your best bet is to just send an email. Once you get that done, you're going to want to check your email regularly and your voicemail inbox for information about interviews. They can pop up at any time. Typically, they'll tell you within like 2 weeks is when they'll get back to you. But yeah, you just want to be on the lookout. You never know. And leaving a recruiter on unread for like 3 weeks is not a good look. So just be aware. If you have any questions regarding your thank you notes or interviews and like how to schedule them, feel free to stop by CEAT Career Services. We will be more than happy to help you. And beyond that, there's not too much. So we'll go ahead and get into our summary. If you have not paid attention for my whole presentation, okay, that hurts a little, but this is what you need to know. For preparation, you're going to want to download the Career Fair Plus app and get familiar with it and all the tools that come with it. Revise your resume. You don't want stuff on there from 2 years ago. Review your business professional attire. Again, nothing crazy going on there. And then you're going to want to attend a mock interview. On the day of, bring your ID, your resumes, and your professional dress. Get your name tag, and then use the Career Fair Plus app to refresh yourself on any notes you made and to find your companies. And also refresh your social skills. Once again, talking to recruiters is super important. So if you don't do well, it sets a bad trajectory. After you're done, go ahead and send thank you notes to recruiters within 24 hours, either physical note cards or by email, and then just watch your email inbox and your voicemail inbox for any information and recruiters trying to contact you. And that is it. So thank you for joining me today.